up, everybody? Master Darkboy Gaming. I am Darkboy, and this is Disc Golf Valley, episode 19. We're going to be taking a look at Pioneer Bay. This is quite the complicated course. There are hazards everywhere, all types of elevation changes. It is quite difficult. On this first shot here, the most important thing is to not overthrow and end up in the water hazard. As long as you do that, you should be able to clear all the way over this beach pretty well and line yourself up for a decent shot at bird. Yeah, it's not the most complicated hole. I know that with the correct disc and the water skip attribute, you could, in the right conditions, from the tee sail it across the entire island, both waters, and land on the beach. So, lots of potential there. On this hole, I find that throwing a forehand and being aggressive allows you to keep on the beach. It's actually a lot easier to throw to the left side in the water. It's a lot easier than you might think. It goes for the right side too. If you overthrow with a backhand and you got an extra turn distance disc, you could easily throw in the water as well. Now, if you get far enough on this island, you can just send it all the way across the water and land on the other side and land. As you can see here, I wasn't far enough forward. I did get a water skip, which allowed me to touch the land, so water hazard me on that side. But if you don't touch land, you will stay on the other side of the water and then still have to make a secondary approach. So you could either lie up and then throw across the water, or have a longer disc to make the reach. When you're putting the approach, you're uphill, so you have to adjust. And you have to be careful, because if you overthrow, you'll go down the other side, which is more water. Do not try to make it to the center island. I've only seen one person do it. It was Disc Golf Valley Tips by Alf, and he showed that only in a very specific condition with the right disc can you actually make it to that center island, and it has to have a water skip, otherwise you will not. The smart, safe play is to play the left beach as cleanly as far as you can, so that your second throw puts you on the front side of this little middle island. And then when you're making this throw, it is super easy to throw right and shoot off into the water. It's super easy to throw left, not clear that hillside, and roll down. And let me just tell you, throwing the putt up over that hill into this little valley-ish thing for the basket is difficult sometimes, because it's very easy to overthrow it into the water for another hazard. So play that as smart as you can. Well, on this hole, you could go forehand or backhand, just a preference point for you. In my opinion, going forehand with a big skip should skip you right up and over towards the green for an easy putt. I did not use a big skip, so I settled there, and now I have a long putt. But basically, anywhere from this area is makeable. It's just about having a good approach, a good throw-in shot. So practice will get you far there. This hole is deceivingly difficult. It is very easy to overthrow. You could use a 5 or a 6 speed, throw forehand, and it'll settle down there through those trees and land anywhere in a puttable spot. If you pick a higher speed disc, it is easy to overthrow and land in the OB. And not very good there, you know. Of course I missed that. But because of that drop, it is deceptive. And I've tried all types of different throws, rollers, and everything. It's just forehand 5 speed. You should land right down in there. On this hole, what you really want to do is just make sure you have a good clean second. You just, whatever you can do to avoid the trees, that's going to be good. You want to land more to the right here in the front of me. It gives you a better shot. I clipped a tree there. This is more accurately where you kind of want to be-ish on your first throw, not your second. I went in the hazard there, so now I got to make this throw in. This is another great hole for practicing range shots, like throw-in shots. Anywhere on the other side of the water when you're practicing, having a good shot there, practicing it will save your strokes for sure. So on this hole, it's very easy to hazard. All these rocks on your left, you see I'm throwing backhand here. I actually typically like to go forehand big skip with like a 7-speed disc, like a river. Because what will happen is it'll skip me and kind of put me in front of that little rock that's in front of me there. And I know from that rock that a good sapphire or a sword even could get you over to where you need to be. So that you have a good, easy putt. If you do come over to this side, be very careful. It's very easy to hit that rock if you don't make this putt. And if you hit that rock, it's easy to bounce right down into the water, just like that. So you might want to cautiously approach that approach shot, because it can be devastating, especially if it's like a later hole in a multiplayer round and you're doing well. It's easy to mess that hole up. Okay, so this hole is super far, lots of hazards, trees everywhere. There's a wall up here. I mean, this course has everything except for a lake, in my opinion. That first throw, you just want to make sure you're over here into this clearing area. It's easy to throw over to the right of me and hit trees and rocks and whatnot. You don't want to be behind those things when you're trying to make this second shot, because you want this second shot to go past this hill that I landed on. If you land on the hill or past it, you have a good chance of making it over this wall that's in front of me. Otherwise, you could end up having to throw from behind this wall, and if you do that, you're going to hate yourself because it is so hard. You have to sky hook it up. You could end up landing in front of this pyramid, behind this pyramid, on top of it. It can become very difficult to recover that bad throw. So, if anything, I would say the biggest thing is avoiding being directly in front of that wall. Outside of that, it's just about good solid recovery, good putt. Now this is up there in what I would say one of the most difficult holes. The drop is so tremendous that if you don't line up correctly and throw, you're gonna end up in a bad spot. OB. That wall that's directly below me is the front line of the out of bounds, so you have to go over that wall. So throwing a slow disc isn't really a huge option there. If you throw a big disc, it's very easy to sail it and end up far right, OB. I have thrown big bomber discs before that went so far they went forward, OB, which is just crazy, ridiculous far. When you're throwing towards this pyramid, it's important to remember that you can easily land just like I did there. And if you do, you got to be very careful, because it might be hard to recover from there. And it's easy to overthrow this platform and land on the other side and end up in OB. You know, so in my opinion, this is one of the harder holes to even birdie. If you're a beginner player and you can birdie this hole, then I say kudos to you. All right, everybody. I just want to say thank you for joining me. This is Master Dark Poi Gaming. I am Dark Poi. And hopefully we'll see you in the future.